Adventure of Link. Really?
I promise you it is the best one.
Okay. Hello, and welcome to Wizard's Word. I'm your host, WizardBlackgaming, and today's word is death. Joining me today, I have Jake from Jake Morangus.
Oh wow, Wizard, that's a nice touch.
Yeah, I know, that happens sometimes.
Hey, Wizard. What, am I not good enough for your show?
Okay,
Oh my
Brit, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you would want to be part of this, but we do have room for one more. Just, you know what, come on over.
See you soon.
Does that happen very often?
Yeah, all the time. Literally all the time. Oh.
Alright, it's just right here. Is this good?
Brit?
Yeah.
You gonna leave that up there?
I'll take care of it. Sorry.
It's fine.
Okay.
Alright, let's restart. Start this whole thing over.
Did you seriously just restart my episode?
You seriously want to start your episode off like this?
Really? Or are you gonna be like,
guys, come on. We have a show to do. Let's just do it.
So I'm here, but I don't even know what the word is.
Well, I haven't even been on this show before, so what am I supposed to do?
guys, it's death.
Thought that was last week's word. What?
You told me last week that last week's word was interruption.
It's not even my show. Why are you letting me tell you what to do?
Guys, David, Wizard, just look at the script.
Okay. All right. Here it is. It was last week's word. Look at the script. Okay, and oh, there we go. It says that Wizard and the gang do an unscripted discussion on death in video games.
Really? It says that?
Yeah, this is actually the last scripted line. Welcome to Wizard's Word. I'm your host, WizardBlackgaming, and joining me today are Brit from 8 Brit.
What's up?
And Jake from Jake Morangus.
Hi.
Today's word is death. Is it important? Is it necessary in video games?
Well, depends on the genre. I feel like death is needed for certain genres as sort of a punishment. You know, because there has to be some consequence in order to progress in the game. You have to do it right. You can't just lollygag around and get killed. There has to be some kind of punishment for not taking it seriously.
That varies from game to game. Like, I always go by live system. No, that's outdated. Video games can do without a live system.
Oh, absolutely. We see that all the time. And Mario 1, for instance, a life system was important because you had 3 lives. The game completely started over at the end of it. But in the newer games that we see, it gives you lives. It gives you lives. It kicks you back to the
checkpoint.
To the checkpoint. Well, the last save point. The game saves every time you leave a level.
Yeah.
So there's no punishment. So why even have a life system?
Yeah, life system is antiquated. We'll need it. Yeah, like Jake said, death is only important if the game makes it important. It all depends on game design.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to start this out with the idea that it is important, just because it gives you not a goal, but something to avoid, which I think is what Jake said.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for example, Minecraft. You know, you're in this open sandbox world. You spend hours gathering supplies, and it just gives you that extra incentive to watch what you're doing, because when you die, you lose everything, and if you fall in lava, everything is gone. You know, it makes you cautious, aware of your surroundings.
Right.
You know, you just have to make sure that you're safe.
Adds challenge.
Yeah,
I would say to a game, definite, because there are areas that are risky that you're like, oh man, I'm gonna die here, and that's not good. But you get past it, and you're like, I didn't die. I did a good job.
I did a good thing then.
Yeah. I think Zelda does it very well because they don't have a life system, but death is punishment.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, it tells you how many times you died without a fairy.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you did not do a very good job playing this game.
Yeah. Well, I've been seeing a recent trend with like a lot of indie games and stuff about like they typically death for a really challenging game. It's like an instantaneous respawn, and I think I prefer that like method of challenge because the challenge is purely gameplay and level design, as opposed to like I really hope I don't make a mistake. It becomes like, let me do this in the most what am I trying to say? The most efficient way possible, and I think that it puts more of a value on like player agency when they're playing the game. Like it makes, I don't know. This is my opinion. Like games like Super Meat Boy, Hotline Miami, when you do something right and you don't think about the times you died. You don't think like, oh, I died so many times on this part. It's so hard. You just like you do it, and you just feel good because you're like, I did that fast, and I want to keep playing. Because for me, at least, death can be overly frustrating, especially in a game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like you wanted to talk about Dark Souls.
Yeah. I mean, Dark Souls is a game that revolves around death. It's one of the main, like, the catch line for the game is prepare to die a lot.
Right.
You know, the game is spoken to be one of the most challenging games out there, but, I mean, the thing with Dark Souls is, you know, it's buggy. You could just fall through the floor.
No, yeah, Dark Souls is a game that's it can get really frustrating really fast, and that's like you said, it's super buggy. For example, I was walking around New Londo. If you're familiar with the game, there's a section called New Londo. In my opinion, more frustrating than Blighttown, because all the enemies can just fly through the walls and stuff to get straight to you, and you're on like these little walkways, and they'll just knock you off. But I had 80,000 souls. I was playing New Game Plus, and I was just kind of walking around, and I just fell through the level, lost 80,000 souls, and I was like, oh, there's no way I can get back to that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, at that point, you know, it just gets so frustrating and anger-inducing. But, like, the thing with Dark Souls, you know, if you've been grinding on a boss for so long and then you beat it, you're just like... There's some moments where you're like, just, yes! Like, I beat the boss, it feels good, and there's other moments where you're like, finally! Oh my god!
Yeah.
And you just,
Right.
like,
There's a definite threshold.
it takes that joy out of actually winning to the point where you're just like, I'm so glad I'm done with this.
Repetition isn't fun, but in a game like Dark Souls, it stands up, even though it can be overly frustrating sometimes.
I think that a different view on death, other than just as a punishment or a thing to avoid, storyline, driving actual storyline.
Yeah.
For me, Majora's Mask, the whole game revolves around death, the idea of letting go of death. Some people even believe that the Link is dead the entire time, which I think is a little ridiculous.
A little far-fetched.
A little bit, but it's not too far-fetched given the overtone of the whole game.
Yeah.
Being that is a definite thing that's going... Because the whole thing's an impending death. The characters are all scared of the moon coming down, but other characters that are just dying because they're dying are also there, and that's an element of it, and it pushes gameplay through and actually creates a because games can be very flat. I think that adds depth. Death adds depth.
You just add a P.
Yeah.
Leave the A.
Yeah.
If you want. But no, the same. Final Fantasy VII is the same. The creator was, I believe, going through the death of his mother, and the whole game is about
Loss.
Yeah, loss, letting go, but like keeping memories with you, stuff like that. So, and it can build interesting connections, especially if you grow to love a character, and then they die, and then it's I mean, that's with anything: film, television, books. But in a video game, I think it really hits home because you're interacting with these people firsthand.
Like
with these lines of code.
Yeah.
Right.
Like The Walking Dead by Telltale does an excellent, almost exact.
You're walking with the character. Next thing you know, what? I gotta choose whether or not they live.
Right.
What the heck?
Yeah.
There are even, unless you guys had something else to add to that, games where death aren't even relevant.
Death aren't even spit everywhere. Death aren't even relevant. I'm sorry, but I got saliva all over you.
And whatever. Death isn't a factor that are still fun to play. Because I think that unless they got cut, you said that it adds a fun element, an element of fun to a video game, but there are games where it's not relevant.
It makes it so it less stressful. It makes it so you can experiment a bit more. And
Yeah, you can just kind of walk around without the fear of losing
Because you have
progress.
games that are unnecessarily fun. Animal Crossing. That game is just so pleasant, a fun experience just to be there. But if you were describing that game to an individual, they would be like, that does not sound like a good game.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it would be any fun. But when you're in it, it is. But death isn't even... I think there's one ghost character that shows up in one of the games.
Probably. That sounds right. Yeah. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about just other punishments in general, like games where you can't die, but there's still like Pokemon. In my opinion, Pokemon when you run out of Pokemon in battle, you get sent back to the last place you healed, which is a Pokemon Center or a house, I think sometimes. Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure that's punishment, not only because you're being set back and you have to, if you're inside a cave or something, you have to go all the way back, or maybe you forgot to go to the Pokemon Center at the next town you went to, so you went to
Right,
town
you go
before.
back 2 towns and
Yeah.
to track back.
And that's a little annoying, but also you have to go through the dialogue with the nurse at the Pokemon Center. That's punishment enough.
Oh, absolutely.
Ugh.
Everybody knows that having dialogue is the worst thing a video game can do.
Ugh.
Maybe we'll have a word on it.
Oh.
Well, I think that we're running about out of time for today's episode, and I'm getting very hungry. So, and I think we can all agree. Thank you both for being on the show.
You almost said having me. Thank you both for having
me
me
on my show.
No, you're welcome, Dave. Anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna go upstairs and shoot the outro.
Do whatever you have to do, man.
Can I join you with that?
Yeah, absolutely. You're good. But Brit's
just-
not. He's just full of sass, and I can't have him on my show.
I'm just saucing too much.
Get out!
Go.
You want me to
Just
You
just
actually
go.
want me to take my rum with me?
Get out!
So I guess that what we can take from everything is that death in video games, it just totally depends on what game it is.
Exactly.
If you're Brit, you would think that using it as a game mechanic as a punishment is kind of a lazy, flawed design.
Yeah, but I mean, if using death to develop your story is implemented, then that's great. If they can do
absolutely
that, then
okay.
it's perfect.
It's all about implementation.
Exactly.
So I have been Wizard Black Mage. This has been Jake, and thank you for watching my word.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope to be on more
Oh,
episodes.
absolutely. You're gonna be on more episodes.
Yes.
I know that we're gonna get Sam in here, get you in
Great.
here.
Awesome.
Brit's in every episode, so look forward to seeing more of him. But this is the most important part of the episode,
Let's do it.
because this is prizes.
Oh.
I'm gonna, right now, officially for the first time announcing, since last time, the winner of the prize of these evolutions.
They're so cute.
And the winner is Ian from Dayton, Ohio.
Good job, Ian.
So I'm gonna send you a message on Facebook. Don't worry about it. But the next prize next time, I'm gonna announce the winner of this lovely the Armos Knight from Link to the Past. And in order to win this, you have to follow my blog, WizardBlackgaming.tumblr.com. There will also be a link from this video. Sharing that will get you an extra entry into the prize, so into the contest.
There you go.
So thank you again for watching, and see you next time.
See you next time.